Well,
All right.
like, laws don't make us safe. People make us safe, and we need to make sure that we have the right people in office.
Hmm. Laws don't make us safe. People make us safe. So right, having the right people. Okay, that's.
It
Thank you
makes a
for
huge
throwing that
difference.
nugget in unexpectedly. Thank you, thank you. All right, so now let's move to some incident that you experienced that I saw. Still on housing.
Right.
So you experienced the FU word sprayed on your door.
Yeah.
And when I was watching the videos and researching about this session, I still there was no any explanation as to why that happened. Um, any incident that led to that, and any updates that you received after investigation.
So I don't know what led to it, but that was right when I launched my campaign. So I launched my campaign around September. This happened in October. Now, we unfortunately didn't have any camera systems up, and somebody spray painted the front of my house. They wrote "FU" on the porch, and they spray painted the door. Since then, I haven't heard much from the police about the incident. I believe they closed it, but we've increased our security. We've put more security cameras, and we walk a little bit differently than we used to. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I'm glad that nobody was harmed. I'm glad that there hasn't been any repeated offense. But more importantly, I had to make sure that I'm protecting myself and those around me.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Wow. The good thing is that that might be job for somebody who's trying to become a security for representative. So that's a job
We
opportunity
hiring.
right there. Thank you. Let's look at the good side of things.
Sure.
If you're here today, please let us know that you're here. Share your name, where you're joining us from. If you have a question for our United States representative, Oye Owolewa, please let us know. Another one still related to the happenings that you've experienced during politics is this that I saw. The House of DC Shadow Representative Oye Owolewa was struck by gunfire in Southeast. How was that experience, and any lessons learned from that that can prevent that in the future?
Yeah, yeah. I think you phrased it right, but I want everyone to know it was my house that got shot, not me that got shot. So a
Mhm.
few years ago, I came home and my house was shot into, and this is Southeast DC. So I guess the cops weren't there anymore. The people in the community, they seen that this is normal, so there wasn't that big gathering outside, and obviously I wasn't a target. I wasn't home at the point. But either way, cops came and left, but the streets were still talking. So I asked some of the young people around the block, like, what happened? Why was there a shooting? And from what they told me, it was basically they were outside playing music all day long. Normally they were playing music day in, day out, playing music day in, day out, almost creating like street block parties. And one day somebody had enough and shot at them. Now, thankfully, nobody was harmed, but I started asking these people, like, what keep you guys outside all day, all
Yeah.
night? Not blaming them, but I'm like, why are you guys doing this? And basically, some of these brothers and sisters, they couldn't get the job they wanted to get. They couldn't work where they wanted to work, or they couldn't live where they wanted to live. So they're just out there just hanging. And I asked them, what keeps you, why? And they said their criminal records. The things that they've done in the past prevents them from doing things that they want to do in the future. And I
Mm.
asked them, if I were to remove your criminal record, what would you do? They will live where they want to live. They'll work. They'll get that job they want. They won't be outside nor playing music. So I said, let me find your program that can get rid of your criminal record. And I just couldn't find a program that they would go to. So rather than complaining about what's not available, we created something called the Exposure Clinic. Now we worked with a community organization. We got a free lawyer, and we said, hey, maybe if 10, 15 people will show up, this will be positive. Somehow the news found out. And the
Yeah.
news put it on. They put us on the news. They interviewed me, and we went from having 25 signed ups to having 200 sign ups. We're like, okay,
Wow.
we need to change location. So we begged the church, please let us in. And they're like, all right, cool. You can use our space. And long story short, about 100 people showed up, and I thought it was great. I thought it was gonna be a one-off event. I thought I did my job. And then the next morning, a bunch of guys called me up. You didn't remind me. You blah 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 blah. What's the next one? So I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. So we started doing it again and again and again. And it was every 3 months we had an expungement clinic. And long story short, we not only helped people get their lives together, but we also taught them to advocate for themselves. So if they saw a law that they didn't like, or they thought that the process wasn't strong enough, I told them to go to their council members. I told them to go to the mayor. I told them that this is your job now. And they did just that. And now today, the laws, 3 years later, these laws are now a lot more beneficial to these folks because they got involved. And I'm really proud of this moment because I could have just said, "Woe was me, my house got shot," but I turned it into an opportunity for folks to empower themselves. So now they can not be in a gunfight because someone's mad at them for being outside. Now they can get the jobs that they want, and not only them, but the people that come behind them that are now being released from prison or now getting their lives on track. Now the laws are even more beneficial to them based off of those people that we met 3 years ago that decided to change their lives for the better. So I'm really proud of that. Not because of anything that I did, but really about how I motivated folks to do things on their own end.
Good, good. Well, thank you for sharing that because it seems like things have gotten better in terms of people who've experienced that and went to jail and they come back, they can get a job now. I think the government have probably learned that, well, it's actually better to just let these people that want to walk. Right? It's better to not make them be on the street because then there's high temptation of doing something they're not supposed to do if they stay
Exactly.
on the streets. That makes a lot of
Exactly.
sense.